Yeah, I'm not worried about it at all. It is what it is. We're here. We won't change anything. UNLV? Yeah. We are now. Yeah, I think it improves each day. It should, so hopefully it'll keep getting better and better. I love Dr. York. He's awesome. Talk to him before every game. We got a good relationship in terms of just when we talk, we don't always talk about football, just talk about life. And we were just sitting there in the draft, and he asked what our internal dialogue was and what we were thinking about, and I told him. He goes, "What are you talking about? Draft the best player." So we told him who the best player was, and that was Purdy, and he helped us make the decision. There's lots of things. Depending on what play you're talking about, man. But, Detroit got it going versus us. In the first half, we shut them down in the second half. And the whole goal is you end up with more points than other teams. So, however it happens, we got to make sure when we have a chance to stop them, we do. Probably pizza or buffalo wings and ranch. No blue cheese. No. Hell no. Ranch. A celebrity? That's so hard. Brad Pitt, I guess. I don't know. I like Fight Club. He was awesome in that. Quarterback. Being offensive coordinator for Houston was so good because I got it at a young age, and I got put with a real good team that people didn't realize was good yet, with Matt Schaub and Owen Daniels and Andre Johnson and Kevin Walter. We had so many good players people weren't ready of yet, and for me to get in that gave us some success, and then for me to learn how different everything else is when you go to different players and stuff and how you got to always adjust. So it was cool to realize how you can succeed with one group and how you got to change it up for another. Because he knows what he's talking about when it comes to football, and in terms of his character and how he is as a man, it's right on. Same thing. You said close games? You hope it helps. You want experience through every game, and we hadn't had the experience of that with mini games the way this year's gone, especially. You never want them close. You want to win them pretty easy and be able to chill at the end. But that's what's cool is the way we've done it these last 2 weeks. It's very rare of what I said you want happens, and that's usually how the playoffs go. And to have our back against the wall in those last 2 games and be able to pull it out, you get the life experience of that, and when you go through that, it breeds confidence. No. Yeah, he's not ready yet. They'll do both. That's usually the answer. No one in this league sticks with one thing, and they're capable of doing both. They play great man-to-man, and they play great zone. So we're going to see both of them, and hopefully we time it out right. It's about being as good as you can, trying to put a team together in the offseason with from every avenue, free agency, the draft, re-signing your own players, developing your own players, all that stuff, and staying healthy and trying to get the right guys. So everything goes into it. It's a hard journey, but we're here. I mean, that's what you hope for. That's why we made that risk. And you always, I mean, there's enough tape to know how good Christian is and was, but it's always a risk. And you gotta hope it all lines out right where he stays healthy. It all depends on who you're competing against and how much you got to give up. But we gave up a decent amount for him. But I think when you look back at it, I think we feel pretty damn good about that. Yes. Yeah, it's playable. It was, but it is what it is now, and we're good. I mean, not a ton in terms. I mean, Andy and their staff do as good of a job as anybody with their scheme and their coverage beaters and everything they do. They still have the same quarterback and Patrick, who's as good as it gets. He was then, and it's hard to get much better than he was then, but I bet he is a little bit. And Travis and everybody, so not a big difference. I mean, if you want to name him after a rapper that you really like, make it sound like something else. All right? And then a couple years later, you could tell everyone the truth. Yeah, I mean, we got a great team right now, just like we did in 19. There's a number of players that were here then that are now, but every team's different. There's a few differences, but the main thing is to get to this point, you got to have a great offense, a great defense, a great special teams. We had that last time. I feel like we have it this time, and so did the Chiefs. So it's not a surprise we're all here. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time, so he's tried every screen. He's got experience in every screen, and the more you do that, the more you go through a bunch, you got so much experience how to call the right ones. We all run screens. We all do it all, but it's about to pick the right ones versus the right fronts. Yeah, always. We all do that. Oh, yeah, it's huge. I didn't get a coach with my dad until my 7th year in coaching at Washington. And so I waited a while to do it. But once I got with him, I realized I'd been doing it my whole life. And just to be around him and grow up and be at the dinner tables, the camps as a ball boy, everything. I never realized it because I always thought I was trying to be a player, which is comical when you think about it. But that's what you always think as a son. And then you get into the profession, you're like, oh, man, that was pretty cool growing up around that. No, it's a good deal. I crushed him when he decided that, but I think he ended up being right. Oh, that one, for me growing up, it was so cool because I didn't think the AFC could win back then. They had lost 13 in a row. I remember kindergarten, 4th grade, and 6th grade. I remember going to all Super Bowls and getting blown out. And I remember the last one, 55-10 versus the Niners in New Orleans. And I think the AFC had lost 13 years in a row. So I just remember going with my dad, and when they played the Packers, they beat the Steelers, and I celebrated that as a senior in high school like that was the Super Bowl. And I didn't realize AFC could win the Super Bowl until he told me that morning that they were going to, and I was like, all right, better focus, which didn't matter, and they ended up winning that, so it was pretty cool. I mean, we had a 4th-round grade on him, but you always try to predict when a guy's going to get taken, and we knew there was a chance he wouldn't get drafted. And we had a lot of holes we felt we had to meet in the draft, and quarterback wasn't one of them at the time. So, yeah, if we needed it, we would have done it in the 4th, but we didn't at the time. So we had to go through all this stuff, and our goal was hoping he wouldn't get drafted so we could get him as a free agent. But we were realizing there in the 7th round we weren't going to get him as a free agent. And you start looking at the board and who's up there, and he was our best guy on the board by far. And once we knew we wouldn't get him as a free agent, it was pretty much a no-brainer, and I'm very thankful for that. I don't know. We just study the tape and trying to think about our own personnel and what works, and everything goes full circle. So there's no correlation. When you say surprise, I guess that'd be something we didn't know from watching tape. And, we knew his measurables and stuff were smaller, but I'll say the first day I saw him at rookie training camp, I said, all right, that's not what we thought. Those legs are much bigger, and we called him Baby Bosa the first day because we came out and he had short shorts on and he had some big legs and stuff, similar to Bosa. So that was when we realized he wasn't the size everyone indicated. I mean, you can't be great in this league unless you don't have like 20 things, so Brock's got it all. I mean, you gotta be able to hang in there and take hits and be fearless. You got to be able to read coverages to know when it's the right time to go there. You got to have the touch to drop it in over people. You got to have the patience and touch and balance to check it down when it's not there. And when they're both covered, you got to have the ability to make a play without it. So lots of things. But yeah, better. Yeah.
Coach Shanahan, MACD, Sports Hot Media out of LA. I love your coaching style. Much respect to your father, Mike. I was in Denver at the time when he was
Nice.
coaching the Broncos. Let's talk about your evolution as a coach. In-game adjustments in particular, and what you did in that second half against Detroit. Tell me about that.
I wish I could make it out to some big secret adjustment, but we got the ball in the third quarter. We scored first. The next series, our defense stopped them on a 4th down. We went right down and scored. The next series, we caused a fumble, went down and scored. The series after that, we stopped them on a 4th down. We had 3rd and 4. Didn't have anyone open. Brock scrambled for 20, which made an off-schedule play. Then we went down and scored and made it a 10-point game. So the adjustments are a little bit overrated. It's about figuring out what you got to do to win and settling down when you've made a few mistakes in the first half.
I know your dad had an impact on you as a coach, but are you still learning from him now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd like to say and vice versa, but my dad's I've always been the closest person in my life, whether it's a friend, my dad, or anything. And I talk to him all the time. He stays in everything, and I am very blessed to have him as asset advocate. Thank you.
How important is to start fast in the Sunday? Because against the house, obviously each opportunity you need to score.
What was the first part of that?
You need to start very fast.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Now, you want to start fast, of course, and you want to start fast in the second half, and you also want to end strong too. So the goal is to score every time you get the ball, but if you don't, there's other ways to win too. And when we slow them down, we got to capitalize. And when we're struggling on offense, we got to stop them on D's. So you can start any way you want, but there's usually 8 to 10 possessions, and it's what you do with them.
What do you saw in Brody first that impacted you and gave you the chance to?
They looked awesome on tape. I mean, when you got to come to stuff like this, it's cool and you appreciate it, being here with all the team and stuff. But like everything else is about a routine, and it's the same as every other week. We're getting ready for a 3-hour game, and we better play our best to beat a good team like this. And nothing changes. The Super Bowl, playoffs, it's all just football. The stakes are higher, but that's what you always go back to. I don't sit here and think a lot about what it would mean or what it would mean to not win it. I just want to be myself, and I want our team to be themselves in those 3 hours. And whatever happens after it, then you react. And to answer your question, if you win, I bet it's going to be pretty damn special. And if you lose, it's tough, and you got to deal with it. And however long that takes, then you come back to fight another. I just remember there was a bunch of, first of all, his dad was my hero. That was who I cut my shoes like him. I wore my shoulder pads like him. I had Tourette's like him after he caught everything and farmer blowed every time he caught a pass and shook his head. So, like, I've always loved Ed, and I just knew he had a bunch of crazy boys. And they all just played tackle football outside the games together and killed each other all the time. And it was hard to tell each one which the difference was. Everyone acts like I babysat him, but that was my sister. I ditched that by that time when I saw what I had to deal with. But it's knowing Ed and Lisa so much. I had an idea of Christian and all those kids when they were younger, but I know Ed and Lisa very well, and to have Christian here the last year and a half is really cool because his parents are awesome people. His dad was a hero of mine. His mom is as cool of a person as there is. And to get Christian and just watch the similarities of both his mom and dad it's not a surprise how special he is, and it's really cool to be around. Have I seen it? I haven't seen it. I'm not familiar with it, but I just know how tight those Bronco teams were, and I know how it was the year before that in Green Bay. I had to fly down from college the Atlanta year. I remember everything about it. I remember always talking to his dad after pregame, the after game, the after parties. Like, Christian was probably too young to go to the after party. I was a senior in high school and a freshman in college, so that was like my prime time for an after party. But it's really special to think about it now and just the history we all have with all that stuff and being right back, and nothing's really changed. That was the easiest decision ever, just because of how consistent. First of all, he was that way in practice since the day we got him. He wasn't given a lot of reps. They all picked up as a wimp, but Brock was the most consistent quarterback that I've been around, and it started that way in rookie camp to OTAs to training camp, and I felt a certain way. Our players felt a certain way, but then when he got in because of injury, and he had those 7 games and went through every situation possible, playoff games, comebacks. He did it here. I think we went to overtime here when we were down versus the Raiders in 22. But just what he did it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't just the record. It wasn't the stats. The film showed it, and that's why we knew if he would be healthy going into the next year, we had a hell of a quarterback. I don't know. I think I'm similar to my dad. I try to treat my son with respect, and I try to I don't want him to do stuff just because I'm making him do stuff. I want him to do it because he knows it's right. But I also am quick to snap if he doesn't know it's right, and you got to teach him quick. So, be honest with your son. Keep talking to him. Don't just lay the hammer. Do both. Thank you, dude. From my dad? Almost the same thing I just told that guy as a parent. Like, you got to be honest with people. it's cool as a coach because you work so hard and you have so many more years of experience, so you should know what you're talking about. You should. But if you're honest with people and treat them right and stuff and don't shy away from what people don't want to hear, usually most people respect it and they'll appreciate you for making them better. Oh, yeah, I don't even want to go there yet. Someone better watch me. I don't know. I mean, every game is its own game. So it's when you come to percentages and everything, I mean, every time you play roulette, whether it's red or black, it still has to do with that. It doesn't have to do with the previous. So, like, I'm glad we came back. I'm glad we could do that stuff. But I never felt like we couldn't. And, yeah, I do get those stats. When you see it, like, damn, that's interesting. But I've never felt that we couldn't. And I'm glad that we did the last 2 weeks, but how will that play in the next one? I mean, it should have no relevance, but at least our players know they've been there before. They know how to feel when they're down, and you should always know you're out of no game until the clock ends. I've known that from coaching a lot, and I feel like our players should always feel that way, but definitely these last 2 weeks should, with their experiences these last 2 weeks, should make them feel a lot more confident. What's that? I'm so pumped for Dan. I'm so pumped for Washington. Dan's a hell of a coach. They got a hell of a one. I know they've gone through a lot of stuff in these last 20 years, but having AP and DQ is as good as it gets. Like, Dan taught me so much in Atlanta. I'm very grateful for how much he's helped my career, and him and Stacy, and just what he's going to do for their organization. Knowing Adam, knowing Jen, like, they're set up very well. What's that? I just loved watching how he ran the team. Certain things he did on the meetings and stuff. You take things from everybody, but Dan, the way he carried himself, the way he talked to the team, was as good as I've been around. Almost the same things I learned growing up in life, but my dad it was so cool to watch him with the staff and everything. My dad worked as hard as anyone I've ever been around, and whatever he worked at, you knew exactly what he felt. And he would keep it real with people. That didn't work with everybody, but it worked with the majority of people. And my dad's always told me to treat people honest, study what you do, be confident in it, and it's helped me my whole life. What's that? Adam was huge. I mean, AP, me, John, we all got here right after the Super Bowl in 2017. From Atlanta, we came here and met for dinner. First time really all getting in person and knowing each other. And we needed to all work together, and AP was huge. He helped John out a ton. He helped me out a ton. And Washington's got a hell of a deal in AP. I'm so glad he sent you to me because I've thought about this a while, and you just got to go talk to Debo. It is what it is. We'll be all right. It's the field we got. We'll be all right. We're good. No, we're not. We're not going to completely change our schedule and do something crazy. Like, we'll deal with what we got, and we're good. It depends. I mean, it's also different, so I can't give you one answer, but my biggest thing with our defense now is, yeah, I get how that first half went. It was as bad as it could be, but they also tightened up in the second half, and as they tightened up in the second half, our offense got rolling, and that's why we got a 10-point lead, and that's my main thing on Sunday. Like, no matter what we do, Chiefs are a good team. They're going to have their moments, and when they do, all right, we got to weather them, but when they don't, we got to capitalize. And when we capitalize, the offense has got to balance it out. And if we do that at the same time as a team, I like our chances. I mean, you want smart people who got good personal skills, but the biggest thing is getting people who can work with your staff and understand what you're saying. You need guys who can learn how you want to do it. And once they do learn how you want to do it, then you want to hear everything else. So it's building it that way. Well, we were having a number of injuries, especially at safety, and you got all these young guys and stuff who you can work out and train, but we weren't in that position. We needed a guy who could play, who understood nickel, who understood safety, who could do a bunch of things and didn't need the reps of it. So Logan was the guy that I personally had played against a bunch and I always felt he was that way. I actually asked Tom Brady what he thought of him, and Tom said, from a mental standpoint and everything, I couldn't tell you the recommendation he gave, and Logan's been exactly that. Logan understands this game. He's smart as can be, and he's been a huge add for us in the time of year we added him. Trent, Trent's unbelievable. First of all, I've coached a long time, and just look at the tackles I've been around in my career, and no one is wired like Trent. He's a different athlete, a different bird, which everyone respects, and that's enough to get the respect in the league. But when you actually are around Trent and know how he handles himself, how much he loves football, the way he plays, the physicality he enjoys, how smart he is, the type of person he is, Trent's one of the most important people and best people I've been around in my life, and I plan on that being till the day I'm not around here anymore. Wired differently? Yeah, he's bigger, faster, quicker, stronger, more athletic. Anything has to do with athletic ability. Oh, yeah, I think D'Amico's got that locked up. If he doesn't, someone cheated. D'Amico's the man. Like, it made me sick to lose him. I was with D'Amico as a linebacker. We knew how special he was then. We knew how special he was when he was our quality control, and we had to promote him within 6 months of QC, how special he was as a linebacker coach, a coordinator. Whatever D'Amico does, he's going to succeed. Houston's lucky to have him. Be as loud as they were tonight. Like, I couldn't hear anyone tonight. Our fans were so loud. I'll tell you what, when we did the NFC Championship game and I came out for a pregame and all the Lions fans were there early, so there's a lot of blue in the crowd, so I was a little nervous for the first time in my time in at Levi's. And by the time we came out for kickoff, the seats were packed, and I didn't see any blue jerseys the rest of the game. And I know they were there, but our fans come strong. They're loud and as good as it's ever been and anywhere I've ever been. They do an awesome job. They're a big part of it. I mean, I'm always pulling for Dion. There's no doubt. But my wife went to Colorado, and I went to Texas. I don't know if they play each other. I haven't kept up with the divisions. That's all right. Then hopefully all of them. Like with athletes and stuff? Like with the players?
Yes. Are they going to be stronger, faster?
They're going to be flying.
Why? Why are they going to be flying?
Just going to be that fast. No, I'm just joking. I don't know. It always gets better, more technical. Watch the NBA, watch everything. The fact that people at 4 have professional coaches, like detailing everything, means everything's getting a lot more detailed and expertise.
Quick question. Last time, the head coach of the last name Shanahan won a Super Bowl with McCaffrey on his team. Does that make you more nervous, not living up to the expectations, or more excited having Christian McCaffrey on your team?
I mean, that's the only reason we made the trade, because we had to get that percentage. It makes me more excited because I loved Ed. Like, Ed was the man, but and I hope I don't offend Ed, but I feel like his son's a little bit better, and so I feel good.
When people
All right.
I'm just curious, what do you think about Kristen just making these wonderful jackets?
Oh, I've known about this for a while because my daughter, who's a 5th grader, but since she was in 3rd grade, loves fashion, and so her and Kristen always make things for each other. So my daughter's been making skirts and giving it to Kristen. So to watch this go down in the last month or so, it's been really cool because Kristen's so talented, such a good person, and the fact she got Taylor and all this, what would bother me? I don't know that if it affected the 3.5 hours, it'd bother the heck out of me, but it definitely doesn't.
When teams are looking for a new head coach, a lot of times you hear they want the Shanahan McVay trade. How does that make you feel when you hear that?
Annoyed. Quit taking our guys. I mean, it's.
What is it about the system that's so intriguing?
I don't know. That's how it always works. I mean, I don't know. You got to ask the owners and stuff, but I mean.
How do you think Shane Waldron and Thomas Brown will fit with the Chicago Bears?
I don't know. I don't know Shane or Thomas. I've gone against them, but so they're good coaches, so I'm sure they would do a hell of a job. That's awesome. All of it's kind of surreal. I mean, I grew up just a coach's son and a fan of it all, and to be in the same situations my dad was doing the same stuff's a little weird. I didn't realize it was a life goal of mine until it became one, and I think it is. So it's really special. So good to see you guys. What's up, man? Oh, that I've ever coached. Man, that's a tough one. I know the ones I haven't coached that were most memorable. The ones I've coached, did Trent help you out with that? He just tried to stump me in front of everybody. I'm trying to think for you, buddy. The NFC Championship in 19 was really cool. I never thought we'd be able to dominate a game like that with 8 passes. That was really special. But I can't give one because there's not one special that sticks out. I also remember loving Thanksgiving in Washington. I feel like we were 5-6, and we went to Dallas, and we ended up blowing them out. But it was just such a cool feeling because it gave us some energy that led us to the playoff game. But I'm just telling you, in the NFL, when you have a cool game on a Thursday and you actually get 3 days off where you can just sit there and enjoy the game is unheard of. So, when you got 3 games to enjoy a victory, those are the ones I remember, which was Thanksgiving in Dallas. It was Cincinnati and Cleveland. I know we did it here twice, so there you go, dude. Appreciate it, man. Brock's amazing. Brock, all he's done since he's been thrown in the spotlight is ball. Just watch the film. He tears it up. And he's got to deal with so much stuff, which is cool with Brock because he doesn't listen to. So he comes out the next week and does the same thing.
Kyle, I got to interrupt you. My bad,
Oh,
brother.
what's up, man?
Going on, man? Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, too, man.
man. Question. How have you evolved as a coach, play caller, all of that, since the last time you were in this game?
I mean, you evolve with your players. It's so weird. it wasn't just like my playbook we were running then. We were running what we thought was best with our players versus that defense. And now we're in a Super Bowl where we got a similar team, but they're definitely different. And we are similar, but definitely different. And the way it evolved is the way their fronts and coverages have evolved. So we'll be ready for it, man.
I know that's right, man. Now, your owner, Jay York, he told the media a story about, in preseason or before Brock Purdy, your quarterback, ever suited up, that you knew that he was the guy. Why was that? Why were you so confident in knowing that he was going to be the guy for this offense?
Well, it's funny to hear Jed say that because it wasn't the smartest moment I've ever had. I mean, when an owner comes in after training camp practices and it's like, hey, how's the quarterback? And what he means is the starter or the second. And you in irritation go, I don't know, but our third guy's the best. Like, that's not what he wants to hear. So that's why he remembers it very strong. But that was just more, Brock was so good right away with every rep he got. He was always the same. And he only got a couple of them. So it was easy for me to say. Because in his few reps, he was the best. But if you know that for a fact, I mean, then you do what you do right away. But he was the best. But you ease that on. And every time he got a little more reps, it was the same as when he only got 2. And so when it was all said and done and he got a lot of playing time, it was like, oh, this looks exactly like what I told you when I was irritated. And he only had 3 reps. And I said, no, he's the best. But that's what was so real about Brock. That's why after his 7 games, his rookie year, even when he got hurt, we knew what we had because he'd been that way in practice every day, and it was the exact same way in the games.
Now, this game manager title has been thrown around, which, again, we all know. I believe every quarterback's a game manager, whether you're one of the elites or whatever the case may be. When you talk about game managing, what exactly does that mean that Brock does in this offense particularly about managing the game?
Well, it's such a weird conversation to hear the whole world talk about this, but like, in my opinion, there's no such thing as a great quarterback if you can't be a game manager. Like, so I don't get how being a system quarterback and a game manager is a negative. Like, the job of a quarterback is to manage the game, and it is to run the system. The system's what you work on all week. That's what the O-line works on. That's what your 5 eligibles work on. That's everything. And the quarterback, if you want to be great, you better be able to run that system, and you better be able to manage the game. But if you want to stay in that position, understand that no system is going to be perfect. There's going to be times where you have no answers. And if you want to stay there, you better make some plays. And that's how you become a consistent quarterback. You're a game manager, you run the system right, and you can make plays. And if you don't have those 3 things, it's a matter of time. 1 game, 2 game, 2 years, it's a matter of time. But Brock does all 3 of those things, so I don't get what we're talking about.
You heard it from the man, the myth, the legend, Kyle Shanahan right here. Stop talking about being a game manager. That's a requirement for being a quarterback.
Compliment, Bill.
Thank you, Kyle.
Appreciate it, man.
No doubt.
All right, dude.
Kyle, you and Andy have known as really creative, executing guys. When you squared off against a guy like him, is it kind of an exciting challenge to do that? And you know a lot about it.
I mean, Andy's so good, but it's also like people. If you try to square up against a creative play caller, you're going to mess it up for your whole team. It's about like studying what they do and trying to give your players the best look possible. If you're trying to be creative to just be creative, it's going to end up looking pretty dumb.
There's always a wrinkle thrown at you that you didn't expect as well. There's always a wrinkle thrown at you when you get out there that you didn't expect.
Oh, always. That's why, like, it's not about coming up with a perfect play ever. It's about contingencies. It's about, what's good versus this right look that you prepare the team for, but that hits 1 out of 5. When you don't get that, how's number 2 look? How's number 3 look? What's the quarterback's answer versus the blitz? How do you keep the chains moving despite not getting that right look?
Sorry if you already talked about this, but one little bit of news today was about the turf. What's the situation with the turf with the practice field right now?
No situation. Our players are good with it today, and we'll deal with it on Wednesday.
My dad told me so much about you. I've been watching you.
So cool.
Pretty cool guy.
That was a tough question because I haven't been on at home when Nickelodeon's been on.
Okay.
But I remember Double Dare, or when I was younger, and getting slime and stuff. But like, they're on their phones, so I'm not sure. Sorry.
Teenagers, that's the same way.
Oh.
So, and what's going to be your coaching approach now that you're going to be coaching underwater in Bikini Bottom?
When am I gonna be in underwater?
We're doing it in Bikini Bottom. So, what's going to be your coaching style underwater?
Like I am gonna be?
Yeah, we're all going to be underwater.
Well, I feel like the one talent I can hold my breath for a long time.
Okay.
So like if we go underwater, I can win that fight.
Okay, I like it.
I want to take people to deep end.
I like it. And your father, Mike Shanahan's 2-time Super Bowl winning. So what's the best advice he's ever given you?
Get the ball to your good players.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. And one last question: would you prefer Gatorade or slime at the end of the game?
Gatorade.
Okay.
I mean, I get the nigga, but slime's gonna like stick and like.
No, it washes off really easily.
All right, slime.
Okay.
You sure? You got experience in that?
I got experience.
All right, I'll take
Trust me,
slime.
I got experience.
All right, give me some slime.
Thank you so much. Great talking to you. Good luck in the game.
You
Thank
too.
you.
No, I haven't seen a story like Brock Purdy, but there's a lot of good ones. You got Kurt Warner, you got Terrell Davis, you got Tom Brady. But Brock's right up there with it, and he's a great player just like all those guys. So how would France look at it? The fans. Oh, I thought you said France. I was like, I don't know. I think fans love stuff like that. I mean, it's what they can relate to. And I mean, just to watch someone like Brock do what he's done, the way he is. I mean, he got undersold because of how he looks and that he doesn't look like what people would say that is. But it's not how you look standing there. It's how the film looks. And the film shows everything. And his film was that, I'm sure, in high school. I haven't seen it. But I know it was that way in college, and it's been the exact same in the NFL. I think your experience in every game makes you a better coach, whether it's the playoffs, Super Bowl, preseason. The more you can go through possibilities and not shut down after them, but learn from them, the more you get better and harden. I'd probably ask Chris Jones. We need another rusher. I've talked to that about a few times, but Ed was my hero growing up. Ed was my football number, my everything. So, like, to get it with Christian and see the similarities has been real special. Oh, no, it's more fun to win. That lasts. I mean, it's their athletic abilities. I mean, you only can do stuff with people who can do it. So it's, you know football, how you've done it, and then you get new people and you see other things they can do, and that pushes the envelope, and you keep building off that. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Linebackers are the center of everything. I just answered this a little bit earlier, but it's been awesome. We had so many injuries. We needed a veteran who didn't need reps, who could come in and just learn our system without doing a bunch and help, and he's been exactly what I hoped for and more. Enchiladas probably. But our Mexican fan base goes hard, man. Bang, bang. Huh? I'm more green. Yep. I'm a gringo to the spicy stuff, but like my heart's with Mexicans, man. I love Cabo. I love our Bang Bang Niner gang, and I can't tell you how crazy they are and represent everywhere we go, dude. They're the one who puts our fan base over the top.
Obviously, we can hear them, and obviously they travel well. What message do you have for them? Obviously, you've been a coach for many years and feel that love.
What they did for us in Mexico when we went there, the love I get when I just spent a couple weeks in Cabo, the way I saw them take over Bourbon Street when we beat New Orleans, our Bang Bang Niner gang Mexican crew is like as hard as it gets, and I can't tell you the inspiration they give to our players, man. Keep it coming. We got your back.
Sounds like an honor and that's
Already, man. I heard like half of that, but I heard legacy and oh, gotcha. I don't know. I mean, all those guys are people I worked with a bunch and friends and guys we've gone through a lot together. So my dad gave us all a huge opportunity and let me pick some of these guys that I had worked with earlier in Washington, and it's really cool to see them all have success. I'm extremely proud of it. I mean, just for the whole crew. I mean, Jed telling us what he was going to allow us to do and bringing in John and a whole group of a bunch of guys, and it's been exactly that way. Like we had to do it all together. Feel like we had to start over, and I feel like we did it pretty fast, and we did it with a bunch of cool people. We are grateful of that, but I mean, I understand how hard the NFL is. I understand how hard all of that is, especially getting back there with how long it goes. But I expect the way we do things, the way our organization is, I don't expect to be an anomaly. I expect us to make that happen. Now, nothing's different about this game except the expectations, the heartbreak, all that stuff that goes with it. But it's the exact same game you've always played, and so you better never look at it any differently. Same way it always is. I'll get here 5.5 hours before the game. I'll eat some food, put on my clothes. I'll start 3 hours before pat and go and go through every situation. I'll be done 20 minutes before it. I'll get dressed. I usually trim my beard and then go out. Brock's the man. I love Brock. I have so much respect for Brock as a player, as a person. We were just lined up on the same spot, so we happened to embrace. But, I mean, in the 2 years I've known Brock, I got so much love for him, and it's going to only get stronger as our careers go together, but he's a very special person in my life. Let the beat build. Yes, he talked about it a lot. They always complain how they got married. They had to go BGAs everywhere. Then my mom thought they were going to Arizona, and then she got there, it was snowing. So I heard from them that Arizona snows, but I never realized that only because my dad experienced in northern Arizona. So that's my main one. I mean, not solely like my parents are close with their parents. I was a fan of his parents growing up, like big time, and now I'm fortunate that they made a hell of an offspring that gets to help us out. So they're a great family, great people, and unbelievable athletes.
How do you feel about the Shanahan tree as they talk about it in the media? Do you feel that's something you're proud of, or do you feel it's kind of overblown by the media that they always talk about tree of the coaches that come out wherever?
No, I'm proud of anybody who we've worked with who goes on to have success. Just not for us, but just because those are people that we care about, and it's really cool to do, and I'm happy for those guys. There's some really good coaches out there, and I hope they have success, and I don't want people to keep stealing people from our staff. That's what sucks. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. You got to ask him or his teammates, but Brock's the man. I mean, I don't care what. They can jump me. I don't care what happens. If you win, everything's cool. I love reggae. All right, I'll take it. Thank you. Appreciate you. My favorite color Gatorade? I like orange. Yeah. Water. Yeah. I got more gray hairs in my beard. Not much. I mean, each game changes you, whether it's Super Bowl playoffs or anything. I mean, they all have effects on you. You always learn how to game plan, how to do other stuff. But, I mean, I know Super Bowls are a much bigger stage, and they have much bigger ramifications. Everyone remembers them a lot more, but it's still the same experience as every game. Yeah. Depends on the game, the down and distance, the coverage. Like, it's nothing that's a good answer for the media, though. What's that? Yeah, I can't think of one thing I've changed. I thought we handled the last one awesome. Yeah, I can't think of the schedule. You get the same schedule that we had. I looked at it. I don't think I changed anything up. No, it's been the same. Yeah. No, we'll see how yeah, we don't gamble, but we didn't then either. So. I mean, if I thought about it, but we're here, we're practicing, we'll keep it moving, and we'll be all right. D'Amico is unbelievable. That's why we don't want to lose him. D'Amico's a star. He's always been since he was a player, everything. D'Amico succeeds in everything he does. I mean, I got to be with him as a player and the way he played. He was a very talented linebacker, but the way he played the game was a problem. Going against him, too, for a number of years when he was in Philly and I was in Washington. I mean, he understood more than just his ability. He understood how the game worked. And we got him as a QC because he wanted to get into coaching. And after being around him for 2 months as a QC, you can see there's a lot more. I mean, it's a lot easier when you win, and we point out everything so that everyone understands how everything ties together. But yeah, those guys, I mean, it's a tough. I mean, they're trying to support their family, make a career. And when people get paid off of stats, that's something people want. And, but you try to sell to guys that your stats will come. It'll all come. The film will come if you do it the right way. And that's why you try to do everything together, balance it out, show people why so they understand. They don't just take your word for it. And hopefully you can paint that culture, and then you got the right people who understand it.
And then in Brandon's case, as a rookie, there were some ups and downs. Now he's a star. When did he start buying in? When did he believe you, what you just said?
I don't know. You can ask him that. I didn't think there were up and downs. I just thought there was coaching that was needed, and we started coaching him. He didn't start his first game his second year after COVID, and since then everyone said how he's in our doghouse. But his backup, Trent Sherfield, had a hell of a camp, and BA didn't. And so it was just week 1. And then after that it changed, and then by week 7 that year, BA had a hell of a year, and it's always been that way. So BA's a stud. He's been a stud since he's gotten here, but, I mean, we're always going to coach. And guys usually appreciate coaching. Someone asked me that earlier, and I don't think a lot about the cool things or the bad things after this game. I know that'll happen naturally, win or lose. But when you bring up stuff that has to do with my dad, and like, my dad means the world to me. He's my best friend. I owe him. The life he's given me is unbelievable. Him and my mom, and yeah, I don't think about that much, but I'm sure you'll see my reaction if that ever happens. I mean, so many things. A good coach better understand football from every aspect, X's and O's, technique, position, or you're going to make the wrong decisions. You got to hire people, you got to coach people, you got to know who to listen to, who not to listen to. And if you don't know football inside and out, not just from what you majored in, but everything, you're going to get tricked. When he was offensive coordinator? Oh, so much. I mean, I remember coming here and thinking everything was all right because they were 14-2 and their quarterback was NFL MVP and they won an NFC championship. And then I remember going to school the next day and everyone chanting Joe and killing the quarterback and saying how bad they were. So you learn like the perspective of football and fans and everything. But like, that team was so good back then, and one thing mattered: a Super Bowl victory. And they got there the third year, and that's why it was special. You don't look like Andy Reid. 5. Like, you got to get taller. You got to get a little bigger. All right. Oh, Cool Ranch for sure. Score more points than him. I mean, we can talk about everything, but all that matters is 3 hours. So we'll see what the advantage is when it goes down. That's why I never go in there. That's why I haven't taken my shirt off in like 8 years. I mean, it depends, but like, I mean, usually pregame songs, I want something mellow because I'm trying to focus. But like, I mean, Birdman JR has always been my hype up song. Carter 1. Oh, the energy's there just coming out here, man. It's cool that we're kind of, I feel like we're out in Palm Springs where it's mellow and stuff, which is perfect. We'll come to Vegas on Sunday to play a game, and if it goes right, we'll enjoy Vegas Sunday night and probably for the next few months.